Hello students, today in this lecture we will discuss about planar machine and another different types of planar machines available. So first of all, let us start with the different parts available in the planar machine and how this planar machine works. So to understand the working principle of this planar machine, let us have a look at this simple figure of this planar machine. Now as you can see, we have discussed the same parts available in the case of the shaper machine also. Most of the parts are similar to that, but the movement provided to the tool and the table, that is the different. So over here, the first part, that is the bed. Similarly over here, this is the second part, which is called as the table. And over this table, workpiece is set. Workpiece is set over this table. The part which helps to hold the tool, and that part is called as the tool head. So this is the tool head. Now similarly, the next part which helps to hold the tool head and which maintain the movement of the tool head in this horizontal or axial direction, that part is called as the cross rail. So that is the fourth part, that is the cross rail. Now to obtain the movement of the tool in vertical direction, this entire cross rail needs to be moved in upward and downward direction, and for that movement the next part provided, that is the column. So this fifth part is called as the column, and which helps to obtain the vertical or up and down movement of the tool in this planar machine. And at the top portion, transmission system is provided. Transmission system, which helps to obtain the table and tool movement. And as in this case, you can see that this pulley arrangement is provided to obtain the transmission movement. So now we have seen the major parts available in the case of the planar machine. So to understand the working principle of this planar machine, just simply first understand which is the primary motion. The primary motion in the case of planar machine, that is the reciprocating movement of this table. And so the first workpiece is set over here, then the tool is set in this tool head. And now suppose if this is the workpiece and this tool is set over here, and this entire workpiece reciprocates, and the reciprocation of which against this tool helps to remove the material from this workpiece. And this planar machine are used when the shape and size of the workpiece is comparatively larger, which cannot be accommodated in the case of this shaper machine. In the case of shaper machine, smaller shape and size workpiece can be handled very easily, whereas in the case of this planar machine, if the shape and size of the workpiece is very large, which are difficult to hold in the case of shaper machine, then this planar machine is used. And there are many different types of planar machines are available, which are used based on the shape and size of the workpiece. That means if the length of the workpiece is very large, at that time different types of planar machine is used. Similarly, if the height of the planar machine is very used, at that time another planar machine is used. Similarly, if one want to machine multiple surfaces of the workpiece, at that time also another type of planar machine can be used. So based on requirement and based on the finishing requirement on different surfaces, different types of planar machines are used. So there are many number of planar machines are available, from which we will study various planar machine, and the first one, that is the double housing or standard planar machine. And for that, simply let's have a look at the simple 2D figure of this standard planar machine. And as you can see, most of the parts are common as that of the planar machine that we have discussed. As you can see, it has table, bed, column, cross rail, tool head, but in this case there is one vertical tool head and another two side tool head are provided. So this is the first tool holder, this is second, and this is the third. So there are three different tool holders are provided, and based on that at three different locations machining can be obtained. And other than these, for vertical movement column is also provided, which we have discussed. So these are the common basic parts that are available in our planar machine. So now what is the advantage of this standard planar machine? Now suppose if the workpiece is available over here, and on this workpiece if one want to machine the top surface also and two side surface also, then to obtain this type of finishing or machining operation on multiple surfaces, this standard planar machine is helpful. Now this table reciprocates perpendicular to this plane, and this reciprocating movement of this table helps to obtain the machining operation on these two side surfaces and one top surface of this workpiece. So when multiple surfaces to be machined, at that time this double housing or standard planar machine is used. Now another, that is the open side planar machine. Let us have a look at the figure of this open side planar machine. Now as one can see, one side of this planar machine is open. This particular side is open on this machine, and that's why it is called as the open side planar machine. So now when this planar machine is helpful, similarly in this all similar parts are available as that of available in normal planar machine, but here three tool heads are available, two vertical and one side. So now when the length of the workpiece, or you can see if the workpiece length is very large, which is difficult to hold in the case of the double slide planar machine, at that time this open side planar machine is used. So this open side planar machine is used when the length of the workpiece it needs to be accommodated very easily. Other than this, the machining operation is easy. Table reciprocates. With this table, workpiece is also reciprocate, and the material removal takes place with the help of these tool heads provided on the cross rails. So this is the basic explanation for the case of the open side planar machine. Next, that is the pit planar machine. Now as we have discussed, to machine the multiple surfaces, to machine if the length of the workpiece is very high or very long, and now if the height of the workpiece is very high and it is difficult to accommodate in previous machine, at that time this pit planar machine is available. And as one can see, there is certain depth is provided for the table and the base, or we can see the pit is provided, and that's why this machine is called as the pit planar machine. And as you can see, base is provided, table is provided, and the work is accommodated over here. And if the height of the workpiece is very high, and this can also be accommodated very easily in the case of the pit planar machine. So this pit planar machine is helpful when the height of the workpiece is very high and which is difficult to operate in the previous machines. Other than this, two tool heads are available, and the further machining process can be obtained by similar working principles that we have discussed in our previous topics. So this is the basic 2D figure of this pit planar machine. Now we will discuss about planar machine operations. So to understand different planar machine operation, that means if one want to clean or one want to machine horizontal surface, maybe one want to machine vertical surface, or if one want to machine angular surfaces, then how to operate these different planar machines. So the first case, that is the planing the horizontal surfaces and how these horizontal surfaces can be obtained. So to understand this, just take a simple example. Suppose if this is the workpiece and the tool is provided over here. Now to machine these horizontal surface, simply this workpiece is given movement in the horizontal direction, or this workpiece is given reciprocating movement by using the particular mechanism, and when this workpiece moves in forward direction, the material is removed in the form of the chips. So the material is removed over here in the form of the chips, and now when this workpiece comes back at that time, as the clearance angle is provided to the tool, no material removal takes place and just simply it rubs against the surface. And as the clapper box mechanism is provided, so there is no effect of tool on the workpiece. So this is how simply these horizontal surfaces can be planed using this planar machine. So again, let's have a look over here. If one want to machine this horizontal surface, so with the help of this planar table, this workpiece is given horizontal movement or horizontal reciprocating movement, and as this tool is set perpendicular to this workpiece, during forward stroke it removes the material, and during return stroke it just simply rubs against the surface, and this is how this horizontal surface can be machined. Now the another case, that is the planing of the vertical surfaces, and planing of vertical surfaces, that is important to understand in the case of the planar machine. Now let's take an example by using this simple figure. Now if one want to machine this vertical surface using the planing machine, then how this operation can be performed. So as we know, this table can be moved in the horizontal direction by using particular mechanism, but this table cannot be moved in vertical direction. So to machine these particular surfaces, what need to be done? Suppose if we want to machine 3 mm depth, so now simple first movement, that is this workpiece is given reciprocating movement with the help of the table, and this tool is fed against the workpiece by 1 mm, and the machining operation is performed. Now further, after completing one machining operation, this tool is given again 1 mm feed movement, and further the horizontal finishing operation is performed. So that means step by step, first 1 mm depth is obtained, then 2nd mm depth is obtained, and then 3rd mm depth is obtained. So by feeding tool in vertical direction by certain mm, these vertical surfaces or vertical machining operation can be obtained in the case of the planar machine. So this tool is fed step by step against the workpiece, and this table is given reciprocating movement as available in the planar machine. So this is how the planing of vertical surfaces is carried out in the case of the planar machine. The next movement or the next machining operation, that is the planing angular surfaces, and these angular surfaces is obtained by just simply using the swiveling head. This swiveling head is used to provide certain angle to the tool, and by providing that certain angle, after that the machining operation or the steps to be followed are similar. Means this table, if this is the workpiece and below the workpiece table is provided, so this workpiece is given reciprocating movement as we have discussed, and as the angular position is provided from the starting to the tool, so this angle or these angular surfaces are obtained by using this simple mechanism. So the tool movement or the tool position is at certain angle which is required to produce these angular surfaces. Means in the case of the horizontal surface, the tool is perpendicular to the workpiece. Similarly, in the case of the vertical surfaces machining, the tool is perpendicular to the workpiece. But in the case of these angular surfaces or angular machining operation, tool is given certain angular movement based on the requirement, and other steps to be followed in the case of these angular surfaces finishes are similar to that of horizontal and vertical finishing operations. So this is how these angular surfaces is obtained by just simply using swiveling head provided over here. So that part is called as the swiveling head. Now the next another machining or the finishing operation can also be obtained using this planar machine, that is the planing of the formed surfaces. And to plan that formed surfaces, the tool is given movement in the form that is required. That means if the form required is like this, then this tool is given the movement in the similar shape that is required, and the movement of the tool and workpiece is similar as we have discussed in our previous cases also. And the next machining operation, that is the machining operation with which splines can be obtained in the case of the workpiece also. So to obtain the splines, simply a cutting rack or spline operation is performed in the case of the planar machine. But for our exam also, the three main important movement that is important, that is first one is the machining horizontal surfaces, machining vertical surfaces, and machining angular surfaces. And the machining in the case of the planar machine and in the case of the shaper machine, both are similar. Means the planar machine operation are similar to that of the shaper machine operation, but the difference is that in the case of the planar machine, workpiece or table is given reciprocating movement, whereas in the case of the shaper machine, tool is given reciprocating movement. Other steps or other methodology is similar in the case of the shaper machine or the planar machine. So I hope it is clear to you that how these different operations are performed in the case of the shaper machine or planar machine. So looking forward to see you all in our next lecture. Up to then, thank you.